and maintenance of handpieces may not be one of the most exciting things you ever do, but it'll surely pay off. By regularly cleaning and caring for your handpieces, you can avoid the expense of having to replace them, the wasted time you could use to get classwork done, and the embarrassment of delay when you're working in the clinic. The cleaning procedures aren't difficult, especially if you follow the step-by-step directions given on the handout. This program will demonstrate maintenance for the high-speed Futura handpiece and the slow-speed Midwest handpiece. The high-speed Futura handpiece must be cleaned at the end of each work week. Remove the black hose from the handpiece and insert the red tube of the WD-40 can into the largest metal tube at the end of the handpiece. Spray a moderate amount into the hole and leave it until the next use. When you get ready to use the handpiece again, attach the black hose and run the handpiece to blow out any WD-40 that was left. While the hose is still attached, slide the spray clip back. Remove the end cap and insert the tip of the grease syringe in the small hole of the turbine. While the handpiece is running, push the end of the syringe until a small ring of grease appears. Stop the handpiece and wipe off the excess grease. Be sure to use a lint-free cloth. Put the end cap back on and repeat the procedure on the other end. Never remove both end caps at the same time, or you may damage the turbine inside. Clean the end caps with a small amount of WD-40 or alcohol and a lint-free cloth. Notice that in the small end cap there is a black washer that should never be removed. Using the WD-40 is essential because moisture from the drive air can stay in the handpiece and cause rust. Since the WD-40 is a drying agent, it can keep it from rusting. The high-speed handpiece has a chuck to hold the burrs in place. While you are cleaning the handpieces at the end of the week, be sure to clean the chuck. Remove the chuck with a burr tool. Turn the tool counterclockwise until the back of the chuck can be seen at the end cap. Apply light pressure if the burr tool is hard to turn. Remove the burr tool and keep turning the chuck with your fingers until the chuck comes out. After removing the chuck, run a pipe cleaner through. Run a thin piece of paper through the slits to remove that dirt. If the paper won't fit, gently spread the slits apart until the paper can slide through. After thoroughly cleaning the chuck, screw it back in with the burr tool, but don't over-tighten it. If the spray clips are clogged, they'll have to be cleaned too. Disconnect the black hose. Fill the chip blower with water and put a small piece of neoprene tubing over both the air and water tubes on the spray clip. Squeeze the chip blower and the water will run through the handpiece. The water should come out the smaller two holes in the back of the handpiece. There should be two distinct streams of water if both the air and water sprays are clean. It's also very important to clean under the spray clip, since debris will accumulate in this area quickly. Carefully lift the spray clip off the handpiece with a small screwdriver or a dental instrument. Don't pull the spray clip out too far because you might detach the neoprene hoses which are attached to it inside the handpiece. Then clean underneath the spray clip with a 2x2 alcohol sponge, making sure to remove all debris from inside the clip itself. The high-speed Futura handpiece can be autoclaved. Remember to spray WD-40 into the handpiece after autoclaving to prevent rust. If you have any trouble cleaning any part of the high-speed handpiece, take it to either the 2A or the 3A dispensary. If your handpiece needs to be repaired, the dispensary has loaner handpieces for you to use while yours is being fixed. Be sure to fill out a maintenance slip on your handpiece so that the person repairing it will know what is wrong with it.
Speed ranges are obtained by turning the screw change ring
The slow-speed Midwest handpiece also requires regular maintenance if it is to stay in good operating condition. This handpiece system includes the Midwest Shorty motor, straight and angle attachments, and 2 contra angles, the latch type, and friction grip. In your Midwest handpiece kit, you'll also receive a bottle of True Torque conditioner, a True Torque dispenser, and 4 or 5 small brushes. And you'll get a can of Spray-A-Day with your contra angles. For normal use, the Shorty motor should be cleaned and lubricated twice a week, on Monday and again on Wednesday. If you're going to use the handpiece on the weekend, it should also be lubricated on Friday. Place 2 drops of the True Torque conditioner in the nose of the air motor. Then clean the outer surface of the nose with a 2x2 alcohol sponge. Place 1 drop of True Torque conditioner on the nose to prevent wear when sliding the nose cone attachments on and off. Then apply 1 drop of oil on each side of the latch at the point where the pin passes through. On the back end of the motor, put 3 drops of True Torque into the largest tube. This tube is the air line which runs the turbine motor. Hold the motor upright for a few seconds to let the oil run down into the turbine. The forward-reverse shifting lever also needs to be lubricated to prevent sticking. Place a drop on one side of the lever, then push it over to the other side and put another drop on the lever. Push the forward-reverse lever back and forth several times to work oil inside of the handpiece. Shorty motors stamped with an A above the serial number can be autoclaved with steam or chemicals. The motor must be cleaned and lubricated before and after autoclaving, and you should run the motor after autoclaving to make sure that it is working properly. The straight and angle attachments should be removed from the motor and cleaned every day that it's used, and then sprayed with Spray-A-Day. It should be sprayed into the back end of the straight attachment and into both ends of the angle attachment. After inserting a burr, place the attachment back on the motor and run it to discharge excess lubricant. Once a week, you should remove the attachment from the motor and spray Spray-A-Day into the nose. Then run the brush provided in your handpiece kit straight in and straight out of the nose of the attachment. Continue putting Spray-A-Day into the nose and using the brush until the brush comes out without any debris. When it's cleaned out, squirt a little more Spray-A-Day into the nose and leave it in. Mount the attachment with a burr installed and run the motor to discharge excess lubricant. The latch-type contra angle should only be used on the slow-speed Shorty motor. There is a Shorty motor with 2 speeds, slow and high. You'll ruin the latch-type contra angle if you use it at high speed. Daily maintenance of the latch-type contra angle involves these steps. Remove the contra angle from the attachment. Then pull the drive shaft out of the head of the contra angle. There is a small black washer on each end of the drive shaft next to the gears. Both of these washers should be sprayed for a couple of seconds with Spray-A-Day. You should also spray the hole at the middle of the shaft and into the back end of the contra angle for 2 or 3 seconds. Reinsert the drive shaft back into the contra angle. Place the contra angle back on the attachment, insert a burr, and run the motor for a few seconds. Once a week, you should take the contra angle apart and scrub the shaft and the contra angle sheath with soap and water. Dry both parts and then dip them in alcohol, or you can wipe them off with an alcohol pad. It's important to get alcohol down inside the contra angle. And it's equally important to dry it carefully and then blow it out with the air syringe so no water is left inside. After cleaning, use Spray-A-Day on both ends of the drive shaft and also spray it into the hole on the shaft and into the back end of the contra angle. The latch-type contra-angle can be cleaned ultrasonically, but not in general-purpose cleaner, which will rust the bearings. Use water or contact a Midwest representative who will recommend an ultrasonic cleaner to use. The daily maintenance of the friction grip angle is the same as the latch type. However, it is a good idea not to clean both contra-angles at the same time, since you might accidentally switch the drive shafts. Drive shafts will last longer if they stay with one contra-angle than if they are interchanged. The weekly maintenance of the friction grip is different, since you have to clean the chuck, which has two parts. Before removing the chuck, pull out the drive shaft. One side of the contra-angle head has a hole surrounded by 4 notches. Insert the 3-pronged burr tool into this hole and lock it down by twisting the handle. Turn the burr tool counterclockwise and carefully back the threaded part of the chuck out. Then turn the head of the contra-angle over and use the pusher tool supplied in the kit to push out the non-threaded or grip part of the chuck. Clean both parts of the chuck in hot soapy water and dip them in alcohol. A piece of paper can be used to clean out the slits in the grip part of the chuck. Sometimes you'll find that it's hard to get a burr into the friction grip. To avoid this problem, use a dummy burr to bend the edges of the grip part of the chuck out a little. This will create more space for the burr. Apply spray-a-day to both parts of the chuck. Reinsert the grip part of the chuck in the side of the head with the 4 notches around the hole. Slide it into the hole with the pusher tool until you feel resistance. Then place the non-threaded end of the other part of the chuck into the hole. Tighten it down with a burr tool until the top of the chuck is even with the surface of the contra-angle. It's important not to over-tighten, because this will push the ends of the grip part of the chuck together and you won't be able to insert a burr. Insert the dummy burr and tighten it down. Spray the drive shaft in the same places as you would for the daily maintenance, and also spray into the back end of the contra-angle. Then reassemble the contra-angle and run it for a few seconds. If you need help with these maintenance procedures, please review the handout. If that doesn't answer your questions, go to the 2A or the 3A dispensary. Remember that the dispensary has loaner handpieces if your handpiece needs repair. 15 minutes a week of maintenance is certainly better than paying the consequences of having to repair or replace a damaged handpiece in terms of the time wasted and the expense.
At least once a week, those people that experience overheating with the angular attachment, place it in an ultrasonic cleaner by disassembling the handpieces we have just now. The friction grip angle requires an additional disassembly procedure prior to ultrasonic cleaning. The friction grip has a 2-piece chuck. Using the burr wrench, remove the back portion of the chuck by cleaning it in counterclockwise direction or as you would to remove a burr. This is the back portion of the chuck. The front portion of the chuck is removed by taking a chuck pusher tool, inserting it in the front of the head, pushing the second portion of the chuck out to the rib. Ultrasonically clean the parts using a general purpose solution. Then rinse the assemblies in hot water and dip them in alcohol. Finally, shelf with the jaws inserted to the back of the head. Then place the half of the shelf